What's going on, Kawasaki Versys owners? I have a Versys 650, and if you're considering buying the Mivv exhaust, I got one. I got the Mivv Suono steel black exhaust, and if you're thinking about buying this, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about it today as quickly as I can. Well, actually, I'm going to tell you everything I wished I would have known before I bought it, because there's some important things to consider, so let's take a look. All right, step one, I know you want to know what it sounds like, so let's do that first. Here's some close-ups of what it looks like installed on the Versys 650. Come around the front here. And the first thing I'll tell you is just about the removal of the stock exhaust, which looks absolutely ridiculous once you get it off. This thing is enormous and super heavy. I can't believe this exhaust is on a motorcycle. It's huge. The mounting of this is a little tricky. So it's a lot to do with the tightness of the area that you have to work in. You've got to remove this whole side piece right here. Take off these plastic covers and you release 1, 2, 3 bolts, and that'll allow this whole piece right here to just kind of pivot out of the way, and everything just kind of hangs by the brake lines then. But you've got to get your foot peg and the rear brake lever, all that out of the way to get access to the bolts that are behind there holding the stock exhaust on. And there's 2 bolts. There's one right here that goes through the mounting bracket on the frame, and then there's another long bolt right here. I left it in the bike. I'll explain that in a second, but I'll kind of simulate with this. So there's a long bolt that goes through 2 brackets on the frame like that to hold it in place. So to get this out, I would have had to remove a whole bunch of stuff on the left side of the bike if I wanted to take that bolt out. So what I did was I just pulled it like this far out to release it out of that side of the bracket like that. And then I just kind of angled and slid the exhaust off of the bolt. And then I just reinstalled the bolt and left it in the bike, because I would have had to take a bunch more stuff off to get the bolt out. And you don't need this, well, not this one, but the one that's in there. You don't need that to install the new exhaust. So I just left it in there. And once you pull that long bolt out, it'll drop right out of there. You'll see what I mean as you take yours apart. I didn't really have any instructions to remove it. I just did it and figured it out on my own. So I would say it's going to take you several hours. I have done numerous aftermarket exhausts on motorcycles. This is definitely by far the hardest one I did. It was very tedious, and it was tough, tight space to work in. So from taking the old off to getting the new completely fit on was definitely over 3 hours for me. So there's my first thing for you. Plan on several hours to accomplish this. The second thing I'll tell you is the Mivv exhaust does not come with any installation instructions at all. They give you a 1-page schematic that shows you how the exhaust gets fit together. It doesn't show you where to mount it on the bike. And I watched one of the install videos, and again, they didn't show you where it actually mounts on the bike, where the mounting holes are. The one that's back here, you'll find it really easy. That one's super easy to figure out where that's gonna mount, looking at the schematic. The other one is trickier. So the front of the exhaust, it mounts up here. So you've got this lower cowl, there's fairing here that mounts to a bracket that gets mounted to the bottom of the engine. And that's where it mounts. I basically had to test fit the exhaust and just see what hole was closest. And it ended up being that one right there, the piece that holds on the lower fairing. There's a bracket there, and you just use one of those mounting holes. Even the schematic says use existing bolt, but it doesn't really tell you what bolt. So that's the one you use. It's right next to the oxygen sensor. You'll see that. The oxygen sensor fit in, no problem on the aftermarket exhaust. The third thing I'm going to tell you is probably one of the most important things you need to know, and that is the decibel killer right here in the exhaust is not removable. Although the schematic says it is, and online on the website I purchased from leads you to believe that it is removable, and I watched several videos of people taking it out. This does not come out. You could get it out if you want to drill it out. It's riveted in there. The schematic says that it's a screw that you unscrew and you can remove it. You cannot. It is a rivet in there. So you want to take the decibel killer out, you would have to drill it out. And if you don't want it in there and you're fine with it out, great. If you decide you didn't like the sound after removing it, then you got to get that genie back in the bottle somehow and figure out how you're going to remount it in there. But you cannot remove the decibel killer, which was a total bummer. I was really looking forward to that. One of the reasons I bought it is because it had a removable dB killer, and I thought, okay, well, I'll just try both noises and see which I like the best. I didn't get that chance, and I really didn't want to, after installing this for 3 hours, start drilling it apart. So it's in there for now. I'm okay with the sound, but I mean, this now, maybe some of the other models you can. I don't know. This is the one I got, the Suono Steel Black, and you cannot take that dB killer out. So yeah, that would have affected my purchase decision probably had I known that going in. All right, what are we up to now? Number 4. Okay, fourth thing I'll tell you is the weight savings. The stock exhaust, this behemoth over here, weighed 17 pounds, and the Mivv aftermarket exhaust weighs 10. So you save 7 pounds by making this swap. All right, number 5 thing you need to know, the fitment of this exhaust is iffy. It's a tight fit. I really think it could be designed a lot better. The bracket they use for this rear mounting spot right here, it's a weird angle shaped bracket, and it just does not work the best. I mean, I feel like I could come up with a better bracket in my garage than that. I don't know. I was not impressed with the fitment as much. It goes together pretty tight, and it kind of sticks out a little bit on the bike. I mean, it's out almost as far as the foot peg is out. I mean, if I ever tip this bike over, it's going to land right on the exhaust. I didn't think it would hang out that far, and there's really no angling it different, unless I have got it bolted exactly like the schematic on that rear bolt. I mean, I could manufacture my own way and change it and probably get it closer to the rear tire, but this is fit how they tell you to fit it. That's one fitment issue there. I don't like that bracket as much. The next thing is, I made the mistake of, I finished the install and I started it up and it's smoking. I'm like, why is it smoking? Well, the headers were touching my lower fairing here and melting it right on to the headers. So this all burned off. So I had to get out my Dremel tool and shave about a 1/4 inch off of this fairing in order to get to clear the header pipes. So I'm shocked at how it was just resting on there, and I just melted it. So if you don't trim this, the exhaust will trim it for you, which is what happened to me, and now I got it burnt all over the exhaust. So that's, I guess the next thing I'll tell you too is make sure you, I was so excited to get it started and everything, I forgot to take like the stickers off of the exhaust, so I burnt the stickers on here. This thing's a mess, which, I mean, I don't care about the aesthetics down here. It's gonna get crap on it anyway, but yeah, I burn on the fairing and I burn on the stickers, and you know, dumb oversight on my part. But yeah, take the stickers and everything off before you start it so you don't melt everything on there. And I'll also mention too that the paint job on the actual muffler here is not forgiving at all. You can see I marked it up right there. I scratched the heck out of it right here on the back of this. After I did this, I slid all the packaging foam back on there to protect it through the rest of the install after I already gouged it. But this paint is not forgiving at all. You can probably scratch it with your fingernail. Yeah, so put the packaging bubble wrap back on the exhaust while you're installing it to protect it. Again, dumb error on my part, but whatever. I don't care about little blemishes like that. It doesn't really bother me. Some people would freak out though if they got a brand new $700 exhaust and they marked it up like this. All right, so let's circle back to the sound and the exhaust note on this bike. When I was looking for aftermarket, I was trying to find something that wasn't crazy loud. I always liked how quiet the Versys was, but was hoping to get a little more growl out of it. I think this one accomplishes that. At stock idle and aftermarket Mivv idle, they're almost identical. You can't even really tell it's an aftermarket on there. Idle, it sounds pretty much the same. You only really get the different exhaust note once you get up into the higher revs of the RPMs. Then you can hear the different sound, and it's not an overpowering, obnoxious sound. I don't mind it at all. I guess I'm okay with this. I really wish I could pull the decibel killer out easily to experience the other sound and see if I liked it better. I think it'd be a little bit deeper with more bass in it, but this is okay for now. Maybe in the future I'll drill it out and we'll see what it sounds like. But if you're looking for a quieter exhaust, you don't want something obnoxious loud, then this would be a good option. All right, now here's the important question. Prior to purchasing this exhaust, if I had known what I know now about it, would I have bought it? Probably not. Fitment is okay. The sound is okay on it. I wish it did have just a little bit more of a growl. The dB killer thing is what is killing me. Not being able to remove that easily with just taking out a screw. I've never seen it. Every other aftermarket exhaust I've had, the dB killer pops in and out in 2 seconds. Not so much on this one. So that probably would have kept me from buying it had I known that. Maybe some of the other models of this exhaust, there's like a titanium and like a round one. Maybe those remove easily. I don't know. I mean, I'm in the USA. Maybe you can take them out in other countries. I don't know. That was the buzzkill on this one. But other than that, I mean, I'm going to leave it on there. I'm okay with it. I spent a lot of money on it, a lot of time on it, and it is a little bit better. The aesthetics, I don't know. I always like the look of the stock exhaust. I was fine with that. And this one is okay. I mean, I'm all right with the look on it. I wouldn't say it's head and shoulders above better than stock, but it looks all right on there. I think it matches the bike well. So there you go. That's my thoughts on the Mivv exhaust. I mean, hopefully you found some of this rambling helpful if that's one you're going to consider. But yeah, there you go. You got any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer if I can. And like I said, hope you found it helpful. Talk to you guys later. Thanks.